This is the afternoon of day 12, our European tour, October 2009. We travelled from Florence down to our hotel in Rome. The hotel was called Red and Black. I have no idea why. We went to our rooms and put our bags in there and got organised and took a few photographs of the garden outside from the balcony and the panoramic view of the local area of Rome suburbs. And here's an image of the front of the hotel a bit closer up, and when we got back on the bus for an evening tour of a few sites before we went to a dinner that night. We started out by visiting the Trevi Fountain, and if anybody remembers, it was featured in a film called Three Coins in the Fountain, and here's an image of my wife and a long shot of the beauty of the fountain and the building behind that particular fountain. Up closer, there was some lovely marble sculpture work, and here's a video of the amount of people that were at the fountain. This fountain was in the Baroque style, or if you pronounce it Baroque in plain English, or how I pronounce it anyway. It was constructed around about the 19th century BC, and it was an Aqua Virgo Roman fountain, and it was one of the main water sources in the city of Rome at that time. Here's an image of my wife standing amongst the crowds closer up. I don't like crowds. There is a superstition about throwing coins from your right hand over your left shoulder, indicating that you'll one day return to Rome. The fountain depicts an ocean scene, or a scene of the sea, and some of the statues are Oceanus, Abundance and Samudriti. Hopefully I got the pronunciation right. If I didn't, so what, couldn't care less. The fountain name Trevi in English is three, and that's why they say 3 coins in the fountain. And the money goes to a local charity after it's washed. But if you have a look at these statues, the main feature is Neptune, the god of the sea, and his chariot is a shell with 2 horses. And somewhere there you can see his Triton. One of the horses is calm and the other one is unruly. It shows the presence of the moods of the ocean, calm and then unruly and storms. They actually have a marriage day where you can get married in front of the fountain. It obviously costs money. That's a symbol of love. Then we walk to the Pantheon in Rome, which is a well-preserved building of ancient Rome, and it's dedicated to all the gods of the pagan Rome. And on the bricks on the side of the building reveal those details. An early temple was commissioned by Marcus Agrippa and built during the reign of Emperor Augustus, and then rebuilt in the reign of Emperor Hadrian, and was probably dedicated in the year 126 AD. The Pantheon is probably most noted as an influence on building and architecture in the West, from the Renaissance through to even the present day. And of course those pillars on the front make it distinctively different to most other buildings. There's a hole in the building and it's called the Eye of the Pantheon, and it's open to the elements and rain falls, and there's a gentle slope, and there are 22 well hidden holes that help the water drain out, and that's what you can see here is the drain. The Fountain of the Pantheon was commissioned by Pope Gregory VIII and is located in the Plaza del Rotunda in Rome, and it's in front of the Roman Pantheon, which we've already described. It was designed by a bloke called Porter in 1575 and sculptured out of marble by Leonardo Sormani. Pope Clement the 11th had a bloke called Bagoni, a sculpture, top the fountain off with a 20-foot high red marble Egyptian obelisk, which was originally constructed by the Pharaoh Ramses II for his temple for Ra in Heliopolis, and brought to Rome in ancient times and reused a number of times. Pope Augustus IV in the 15th century got sick of the urban sprawl and market stalls and the hovels that spoilt the view of the Pantheon, so he built the current Plaza del Rotunda, and now it's full of shops and restaurants, and it's a meeting place for the Italian people in Rome. Then we got back on the bus and we travelled back to the Red and Black Hotel, and some people changed their clothes, etc., but we prepared to go for dinner that evening, and then got back on the bus and travelled through Rome to the restaurant. And the Fountain of the Four Rivers was built in the Plaza Navona in Italy, Rome, and was designed and built in 1651 by Gian Lorenzo Bernini. The fountain shows the river god Ganges. It was built during a famine in 1648, and the people weren't happy with them spending money on the fountain and obelisk and not on food. And speaking of food, the bus was parked and we walked down some side streets, past some other restaurants, and then to a cabaret type restaurant. And here are some images of the people that were on the bus, and if you're one of them in the photograph and you don't like being in my video, then you can send me a message and I'll remove you. But until then, seeing it's nearly 10 years ago, there's some photographs of people, including myself up the end there with a red face. I don't drink alcohol, it was nothing to do with alcohol. And my wife is behind the camera. And here is the theatre restaurant from a distance. The food was served, and then the dancers and singers performed amongst the tables. Then we went back to the hotel where we had a good night's sleep. And here's my cheeky wife relaxing before the lights went out. The video was produced by myself, and it's the end of another exciting video of the afternoon and evening of day 12 when we arrived in Rome on our European tour, October 2009.